Jade sat at her bedroom study desk working on their investigation. A student at the U of A sent her an email with just Alan as the subject. It contained a video with armed men in the distance putting on balaclavas, getting out of the van, and kidnapping Alan. It was only 4 seconds long before they entered the vehicle and raced away. Jade thought the video was too blurry and shaky to identify anyone, but she forwarded it to Kevin to see if he could make anything of it. "Thanks," was his immediate reply. "Doesn't he ever sleep?" She wondered. She knew from his message updates he had been working all night on finding video footage. A couple of hours later, and Kevin started a video chat. She took it on her TV display and was greeted by a detailed photo of a kidnapper.
"Wow, how did you do that?" I zoomed in as far as I could go. His face was a blur.
"I used a software program. It is like the ones first used by digitally enhanced telescopes to cancel out the twinkling of the atmosphere. It analyzes many frames and uses advanced statistics to filter out the noise from the actual image. I used the same one to read the license plate, not that it helped any."
Jade waved her hand and discovered she could rotate the image 360 degrees. He was tough and strong looking. Somewhere between a farm boy and a soldier.
"Can you find out who he is?"
Funny you should ask. Actually, I ran an image search, and he attended an event with the apostles in Mission BC, but I think he is more of a hired hand than one of the faithful. I was thinking this was going to be extortion from his father's business competitors, but it's looking like it's the apostles that are after his money.
"Money? But why? I searched them up and their sheep have to give them 10% of their income, so they have money. All their crimes seem to be political or religious. This is something a street gang would do. Something doesn't fit, they would beat people they thought were sinners or lobby for the Christian conservatives, but kidnapping for money isn't their thing."
Kevin nodded his head.
Maybe they're planning something big.
The sun was setting, and William McPherson read his bank's financial report in his backyard gazebo when he felt his one buzzing. He didn't recognize the number but answered anyway.
"Hello, Dad."
His son Alan said, his voice sounding dour.
"Oh my God, son, are you all right?"
"I'm okay. They wanted me to tell you not to call the police or they would kill me. Dad, you have to get me out of."
The voice changed. The kidnapper took the phone away and spoke.
"You will transfer 500 million loonies to us, or you will never see your son again. I will send you instructions with the address. Check your email."
"But it would take months or more to sell off enough of assets to get that kind of money."
"If you have the will, you will find a way. How much can you raise in a month?"
"I'll have to speak with my accountant, but I should be able to get 100 million.
The call went silent.
Hello? Hello?
William checked his email and found the message. It contained a loony address of 128 random letters and numbers, a password, and a link to a darknet address for leaving messages. Below that was a photo of a dejected Alan with his hands and feet roped together. He clicked on the link to the darknet address and got a "This page cannot be found" error. He shouted into his one.
"Francis, get in here right away."
When his aide ran in, McPherson explained what had just happened.
"You must download special software to access the dark net, Mr. McPherson. Allow me."
Francis typed with lightning speed.
"Here is the message.
"If you want to see your son again, you must pay the ransom and cooperate fully. You shall not cooperate with the police. You shall immediately transfer 10 million and keep us updated on your progress raising the rest of the 100 million to save your son. You will leave information on this website."
"Francis, transfer the 10 million, and tell Kevin we received a ransom demand and ask him to find where they are, discreetly."
"Right away, sir."
Kevin put his expense budget to good use and replaced his clunky old tablet with a new one. He was in the middle of unboxing it when received the call from Francis. Since McPherson owned a telecommunication company, he gave Kevin carte blanche access to phone records. He traced the ransom call to McPherson down to an internet-based application originating from the darknet. A dead end. He checked the darknet page they gave McPherson. There was nothing revealing in the HTML code. He debugged the login part to see if it referenced any uncloaked IP addresses or contained the author's name. Nothing. Finally, he examined the email McPherson received. The IP chain was listed in the SMPT headers as it transferred from email server to email server on the way to McPherson's email account. He traced them backwards and found the origin was a server in Russia. Again, nothing. As an afterthought, he checked the HTML code in the email as well. It seemed pointless since whoever was doing this was very sophisticated at covering their tracks, but then... Bingo! The image of Ellen was not actually embedded but was a link to the IP address of the computer that sent it. Someone screwed up and forgot to scrub their tracks. He executed a whois search and found the IP address was part of a block belonging to an ISP, which was one of McPherson's competitors. Finding who used that IP address would not be so easy. It was now 2:50 a.m. and he needed to wait for office hours for the next step. Kevin made his nightly video call to Jade. She was dressed in a bathrobe and dimly lit by the television. She was half laying on her couch, leaning on the arm with her bare legs beside her. Kevin tried not to drool.
Hey Jade. I hope I didn't wake you up.
Hi, bud. No, I just got home, and I need to unwind before I sleep.
How was work?
It was okay. It's midterms, so it was a little quiet and I came home early. How are things with you?
Kevin explained the ransom and how he had found the IP address. Jade noticed the lines around Kevin's eyes seemed a little deeper than usual.
You look tired, Kevin.
I'm okay. Well, maybe a little shattered. Can we get together tomorrow? I could use some downtime. And I miss you.
Aw, I miss you too. Tomorrow is my day off. You could come over for dinner. I'll order something. How about 6 o'clock?
Sounds great.
Kevin slept for a couple of hours and called the ISP that owned the IP address used to send the ransom email.
Welcome to future, how may I help you?
The simulated female voice asked.
I got an email saying my computer was, spreading viruses. And I'm supposed to contact you. Now my internet stopped.
Kevin put on his best exasperated and out-of-his-depth consumer voice.
I can help you with that. What is your name and phone number?
Jerry Willington, 780-555-0150.
He wondered about putting on a fake accent, and then figured the AI wouldn't care.
The Internet Abuse Department will let you know what you need to do. I can transfer you now.
Actually, I have to go pick up my daughter from dance class right now. Can you give me their direct number?
Sure, it's 780-555-0169.
Kevin started his Blackware app and spoofed his call display to show he was calling from the Edmonton City Police.
Hello, Future Internet Abuse Department.
The voice sounded like it belonged to a young woman and Kevin was glad it was not another robot, since machines were not so easily manipulated.
Hello, this is Sergeant Armsworthy from the Edmonton City Police Human Trafficking and Exploitation Unit. I need an IP address search, ASAP.
I thought these requests are supposed to be made with a court order?
Kevin realized she must be new and not sure. He could use that to his advantage.
I understand that, but there is a pedophile luring a minor, and the meeting will happen in 35 minutes. I need it, now.
I'll put in a request to the head office and see if I can get approval.
It'll take too long. We have an understanding with management that we can make emergency requests and they are to be complied with immediately. What is your name?
Nancy?
Nancy, you don't want to be responsible if anything happens to an 11-year-old girl. This is your chance to do the right thing.
All right, let me put you on hold while I look it up.
Kevin listened to some insipid elevator music interspersed with recorded promotions for the latest internet deal.
Okay, it's a business account belonging to Oppie's Chicken at 10,744 to 109th Street. Is there anything else?
No. Thank you for your cooperation, Nancy.
I'm glad if I could help. Thank you for calling Future.
Kevin was wearing his army green jacket with an Asian dragon embroidered on the back. It had a wild excess of functionality, but the fabric was firm, and it reminded him of his better days in the army. Oppie's Chicken was a restaurant in the rundown neighborhood of Central McDougal, north of downtown. He rented a slipper and drove past blocks of mostly vacant two-story commercial buildings with boarded-up windows. Past the downtown core, a few tradesmen's offices appeared to still be in use. A variety of other businesses still operated, such as computer repair, and used clothing, which were interspersed with small, mostly Asian, restaurants. Closer to 107 Avenue, were residential and the occupied apartment buildings from the 1970s and 1980s. Oppie's Chicken was easily spotted by its garish yellow sign. It was a tiny restaurant that had a seating capacity of 10. Kevin parked outside and found a weak Wi-Fi signal. He entered and sat at a greasy but cleared table and ordered chicken to stay from a chubby but friendly waitress. An equally chubby but not so friendly middle-aged man operated the deep fryer and Kevin assumed he was Opie. A blue haze and smell of deep fryer fat permeated the building, and Kevin's pores and clothing. The exhaust system was on the fritz. He unrolled his tablet and found the public Wi-Fi's external IP address matched that of the kidnappers, so someone emailed the ransom from here. While waiting for his order, he accessed the router and video cameras with ease, since the video was being stored in a computer on site that was shared on the network and not protected by a firewall. What is it with these mom-and-pop stores? Kevin could have cried. He downloaded the video dated on the day of the ransom letter and a couple more for good measure. So as not to draw attention to himself, he finished the salty and dry chicken fingers by rendering them palatable with ample honey mustard dipping sauce. The French fries were surprisingly tasty, but he was glad he'd eaten them, even if they didn't use real cheese curds. He was optimistic the video would show the man who sent the email. If so, he should be able to find his identity and, together with the other known kidnapper, he would try to access their lenses and might uncover the entire network. This was a good day. He paid with his one, left a tip, and sauntered out of the restaurant. Opie watched him leave with suspicion, even walking to the front of the store watching Kevin get into the slipper that drove him away.